It's about that time.
Pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4.
Here we go, Roger.
On Insights, two eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS, where we always talk the talk.
Rick, the reporter, my Cisco kid. What's up, my friend? What's up, my friend?
What's happening, Coach? You know, it's Tuesday down here in the old Dub C Wesley Chapel. And so you know what that means? It must be storming outside. So nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. I can't even say but the weather because the weather's the same.
Say the weather is still the same. I don't know if that's good or if that's bad. I don't really know what to call that. Now, we were supposed to start the day with our new moderator. They didn't really want to be on anyway. They lost the bet, so they were supposed to be on. So they rigged the computer so they don't have to be on. Rick.
Wah, 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 wah.
Oh, Rick. Boy, it's a lot going on, and we still think that we're going to have a real good show here today. And we have, something going on as always here. Oh, speak of the devil.
Oh.
We can't hear you. Still can't hear you. You're muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. You're muted. Can't hear you. Still can't hear anything. Well, one of the things that we have coming up.
Back 4 Enterprises is sponsoring and a unique opportunity for independent singers, musicians, and performers to showcase their talent. Back 4 Enterprises is working in conjunction with INSiiGHTS ROKU Network to provide a platform that will allow and enable these performers to be seen on a vehicle that serves over 91 million homes. 850-999-2870. Info at INSiiGHTS.
Man, that thing is picking up right there, Rick. We it looks like the Christian Sunday, the Gospel Sunday, might be full. We have some excellent talent with it. We've kind of changed just a little bit. We're going to allow them to submit some videos and things like that. And we're going to do our virtual show. That thing is actually picking up. It's really kind of exciting what we have going with INSiiGHTS ROKU, getting it off the ground. It's like flying a kite and trying to get that kite up in the air.
Yeah.
And it gets up a little while, and it comes down, and it gets up a little while.
Yeah.
And so, we're really excited about it. In addition to which, this for all of you out there who may hear it, this Saturday, 2:30, we're shooting a pilot film on Saturday, freshman generations, and we have some people that'll be here, aspiring young actresses and actors, and we're gonna shoot our pilot. So if you're interested in coming, come on out. You might be in a crowd scene, might be able to. We're still filling spots, and after we do the pilot, our goal is to shoot 4 to 6 30-minute episodes on our show. So
it's going to be okay, like a series, like one of these. Okay.
Yeah,
I see you working it.
Exactly. That's exactly what we want. I mean, that's one of the reasons that we created all of it. To be able to do this and allow people an opportunity, and we have a platform. We keep saying we're trying to use it, so we're excited. Roku channel, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Well,
oh yes, indeed. That's what it's all about. It's all about it. Oh my goodness. I am hyped. This rain is killing me. Oh my!
Look at that face.
Oh! Wow!
Hey, I'm
Hello
gonna try to.
there.
Hello. Y'all still can't hear me?
Yeah, we
No,
can
we
hear
hear
you.
we hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Ah,
I like
Rick
to
just
first
laughed.
say that Coach Clayton finally won a bet. He finally won a bet. That's why I'm here today.
And we're trying a new format, see if we could get somebody to kind of serve as a moderator, keep the show along and keep it going on program and things like that. So Ms. B, we're at 7:20 on our cue sheet.
Okay. Well, hello. The past couple of shows, about 2 weeks ago, we had Kendall Randolph on the show talking about I Seen It. We had some very positive feedback. From KB and Renee Williams, both congratulating Mr. Randolph on a great show. And you can also go back and watch the show on our YouTube spot. Okay. And also we did the I'm gonna say I'm still in basketball season, excuse me. We did a swag baseball coverage, and it was the number one show. It was the number one show for the month. Coach, what? Stop laughing at me, Rick.
No,
Coach, what?
I'm smiling on that one because baseball is so underrated, and
Yes,
that's great to
yes,
hear. I like that.
yes.
No laughing here. That's legit.
Okay, okay. Coach, what made you do swag baseball?
Well, I like basketball, so that's fine, But we have a platform, and we had the ability to put more things on our platform.
Okay.
And the SWAC has been real good in terms of keeping us updated with what's going on in the conference. We've been able to tune in on some of the football press conferences, things like that. They've done an excellent job, them and the MEAC. So what we wanted to do was be able to keep people a little bit more updated with the information that we're getting directly from the conference and now from some of the conference schools. And it's, it really got a lot more coverage than we thought it would. But we're going to keep pushing it so that we can get additional coverage, because those young men and young women in the SWAC, they deserve all the attention that they can get for what they're doing for the institutions that they attend.
Okay, okay. And Rick, Coach was on Black Men Sundays, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been one of their most popular shows they've had so far. He got a fan club.
That doesn't surprise you there. No,
No.
and I'm not going to even clown. I'm going to be straight up. And I always talk about giving people their flowers while they can appreciate them. And Coach has not only a lot of fans, as you said, but a lot of knowledge on a lot of different subjects. And so I can see why that could have been or was their top program, because he was probably giving it up. And that's what's up. That's what we do here. Straight no chaser. So congrats on you, Coach. Keep expanding the horizons.
Thank you. Y'all tune in to Black Men on Sundays. Black Men Sundays. He says I always put an extra word in there. But Corey's a FAMU graduate, award-winning photographer, cameraman down in Orlando from the School of Journalism. And his program is going well. He likes to talk about different health issues, wealth issues, and they really talk on some topics that we typically, Rick, don't talk about in our culture. Something that we don't. And they have some speakers on there that have been able to accumulate and amass some wealth at an early age. So they're going to give you some knowledge.
Okay. Good. And Coach, what's up with ROKU?
What else? What else is up? We kind of covered it a little bit, but Roku again is going really pretty good for us. We still got some kinks we have to iron out. We also got our first episode for Faith TV on Sunday. We have a special meeting with Roku people tomorrow to talk about some problems in terms of uploading our information and being able to change our scheduling format so that we can keep a current schedule and change it as we need to. But it's going real good. And, it's just like when we were started Studio 13, people always say they want to do something until it's time to do it.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Time to do it. Coach, I want to do this. Coach, I'm going to do this. Coach, can we do that? Coach, yeah. And then you don't hear from them. So I'm that prove it guy. You got to prove it to me. This is what you really want to do.
Okay. Well, what do you see? What do you see in the future? What do you see coming up in the future? What we got coming up?
Well, we kind of talked a little bit about the shoot that we have on Saturday and the virtual showcase that we have on Sunday. And so we've kind of talked about it, but it changes daily. We have a guy, an individual that's going to help sell advertising and marketing for us so we can do a better job of monetizing. And the fact that what we have a hold of is a bear. I mean, it's going to take the whole team to get together. And as a young man told me, he said, Coach, call my number, put me in, I'm ready. So,
okay.
We're going to see.
Okay. I heard Rick was singing on the Sunday showcase.
You didn't hear that, La. No, ma'am. Hey, you as someone once said on this show, you want people to look at the show. You don't want to turn them away.
Okay.
Know your role.
He said, know your role.
I know my role. Singing.
He said, know your role. Oh.
I got you. Hey.
And we're getting ready to go and show the promo for Roku.
INSiiGHTS now has its own Roku channel. INSiiGHTS itself is a dream maker, providing a platform for content creators. Go with INSiiGHTS Roku channel into 91 million homes. We are strengthening our programs that will continue to educate, entertain, and enlighten our viewers. We will still feature youth sports, MicknRick, INSiiGHTS Magazine, Remember the Legends, and much more. Stay tuned for our creative content. We will continue to appreciate your support.
While watching Coco Gauff's journey to her first tennis major final at the French Open, I beamed with pride, not only at the skill level of the young 18-year-old, but also at her beyond the age maturity level of her fame and stature. After her semifinal victory, Coco wrote a message on one of the cameras, which has sort of become a tennis tradition. Instead of "Hi Mom" or some other shout-out, Gauff wrote, "End gun violence," using her worldwide platform following the recent mass killings across the U.S. It reminded me of another tennis player of color who also used his stardom and the tennis platform to speak out on issues affecting not just the United States, but also the world. On today's Remembering the Legends, we shine the spotlight on Arthur Robert Ashe Jr. Born in Richmond, Virginia, July 10, 1943, Ashe would not only become one of the best tennis players of his era, he would become one of the world's greatest humanitarians. His accomplishments were historic. He became the first black man to earn a spot on the Davis Cup team, earned a scholarship to UCLA where he not only claimed an individual NCAA title, but helped the Bruins win the team championship. He also became the first black man to win a Grand Slam when he claimed the US Open, and later added the Australian Open and Wimbledon titles to his resume. In all, Ashe won 33 titles and also won titles as a Davis Cup player and later captain. But it was off the court where he made an even bigger impact. Highly respected by his peers, Ash was a co-founder of the Association of Tennis Professionals, the union for male players, and would later become its president. He helped establish numerous programs to help introduce and teach children in the inner city communities and beyond about the sport. He was lauded and commended for his efforts to eradicate racism and poverty throughout the world. And when he was diagnosed with HIV, following a blood transfusion from heart surgery, he poured his efforts into AIDS awareness. He started the Arthur Ashe Institute for Urban Health to bring programs in the inner cities to educate and promote better health care, and even spoke to the United Nations General Assembly for funding for AIDS research. Ashe was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame in 1985. He later died February 6, 1993 from AIDS at the age of only 45. Known for his grace, dignity, and class on and off the court, Ashe's legacy lives on in programs through his foundation. The U.S. Open's annual Kids Day celebration bears his name, as does the U.S. Open's main court, Arthur Ashe Stadium. While his tennis feats alone would have made him great, it was his efforts to improve the world that made Arthur Ashe a legend. Yeah, yeah,
Rick, what made you
yes.
pick up? What made you pick Arthur Ashe? And what did you
Well,
learn different about Arthur? Excuse me.
Can he answer
well
just one question at a time?
hey, I feel like those athletes. Okay,
Yeah.
the first one that you said, no. Besides his name being Arthur and him being a member of the greatest fraternity in the world, although I didn't say those in the script. Watching Coco golf in that semifinals, and when she wrote that in the violence, and then the commentators were just lauding and just all over, just loved it. And it made me think. I was like, this girl is worldly. I mean, even though she's so young, and it just started. Arthur Ashe just popped in my mind. I was like, she's a young Arthur Ashe. I mean, well, using her platform to speak out against things, and so I just had to speak on Arthur Ashe. I thought it was important that people not forget that how good he was, and
Okay.
and what did I learn about him? Funny, uh, when he was Davis Cup captain, everyone was on him to get rid of John McEnroe from the team because
Oh,
John McEnroe had everyone was calling him McBrat because he'd go off on tournaments and all that, and they just didn't think it was a good look for the Davis Cup team. And Arthur Ashe said no, and he fought behind the scenes. He fought the organizers of Davis Cup and said no, I'm not getting rid of him. And I thought that was big that he stood up for his one of his players, and it just
okay.
reminded me of a coach who stands up for their players despite them not being mainstream or whatever. So
Okay.
those are
Okay.
that's what I learned about Arthur.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good point. Good point. Good point.
One of the things that the topic of today's show is the sports integration of the South's segregated high schools. Now, we got on this topic because golfing has really introduced me to a whole lot of people that I normally didn't know, new guys, um, young ladies as well. Jan Auger over tennis director for the city of Tallahassee. She's been instrumental with us doing some Kamayu Jackson and Kamayu and some of the tennis guys. And one of the guys started talking to me about his high school team. Well, actually, what he started talking to me about was his high school team had the first black quarterback at Notre Dame. Okay. And what happened to him and how they ended up, how they ended up kicking him out of Notre Dame and all back in the 70s. And you know, black quarterback in Notre Dame, that's pretty significant.
Yes, yes.
So as he talked more and more, as we were golfing over 18 holes, I began to realize that he was revealing and spitting some knowledge. Okay. And some of that knowledge was how rough it was at the high school he went to. And so I said, what high school was that? So he said, St. Aug. So I'm like, over there by Jacksonville. He said, no, St. Augustine in New Orleans. Wow. He said, Catholic, all black, all boys school. Wow. And talked about how they actually dominated not only New Orleans, but Louisiana. And the different things they went through. So, you know, a lot of the black high schools during that time, when they got integrated, they really had a lot of success. Okay. But it was the academic component that he told me about. So I'm just talking, and I'm like, is St. Augustine still open? Have they closed it? You know, what's going on with it? He said, he told me how many graduates they just had. And he said, out of the graduates that we had at the high school, he said that 100% have been admitted to college. Catholic, all boys, black high school, 100% accepted to college. Wow. He told me at one time they had 12 sitting judges that were graduates of St. Aug High School. The mayor was from St. Aug. The police chief was from St. Aug. And he just started naming all these different pros in different sports that were from St. Aug. I was literally blown away. Ms. B, you might want to share some of the stuff you did and found out about your research.
Well, I found out that in 1965, all black St. Augs played all white Jesuit Catholic high school in Louisiana, and they had parents that were actually scared for their sons to play and forbid some of them from playing. They had basically a closed gym. Nobody was in there but the players and the coaches and immediate staff, maybe like a trainer or something. Nobody knew it. It was in total secrecy. The St. Augs won, I think, by maybe like 22 points, and they couldn't even celebrate. They had to keep it. They had to keep it quiet. They kept it quiet for months until the coaches finally decided that they would tell everybody that they won. It just reading some of it, it's just crazy. I did not grow up in that era, and when you come from the north and you come down south, it's kind of a culture shock. What do you mean I can't go in there? And some of the St. Augs players talked about when they had visiting a new bishop. I think it was a bishop. And he wanted to go in somewhere to get a slice of pie. And he did not understand that they could not go there. And he was with some of his athletes, and they actually got drug out of the restaurant and taken behind the building, threatened. With one of the players said he got a shotgun put to his head. And this is in the late 60s. I just don't understand it. I didn't grow up in that era. Coach, did you grow up in that era?
Oh, I lived it.
Oh, okay.
I lived
Wow.
it. I was in Cleveland. Now, Cleveland is about as segregated a city as you'll ever find.
Okay.
There's the east side of Cleveland and the west side of Cleveland.
Okay.
East side all black, west side all white, and never the two shall meet.
Wow.
And you could go on the west side of Cleveland and be in jeopardy if you getting out of the west side of Cleveland.
Wow.
It was pretty rough. And when I came to Florida, end of the 60s, start of the 70s, they had just integrated the schools. They had closed down the black high schools. And it was I just moved here, so I was not aware that was new, and all the tension that was existing, and the black high schools and the pride they had and what they did, and now they're now integrated with the white high schools and junior highs, and all the tension that existed. I was busy trying to prove my own point playing basketball. And,
Okay.
and the thing that I always say with the guys from the North is that I always thought the Northern basketball players were better skilled. But I thought the Southern basketball players were more athletic. And you go to the hole on the guys down here, they liable to pin you up against the rim on the backboard. So they walk around in Brogan boots and weights on their ankles and all of that, just trying to be able to jump better, and they could jump. So that was always, that's all I was concerned with. But it was a rough time, and sports help create some problems, and it also resolves some problems.
Okay.
Rick, what did you see?
Like Miss B, I wasn't from that era, but once I came down here, and really once I came to Lakeland and heard about Ken Riley and Union Academy being absorbed. All right, Ken Riley went to Union Academy in Bartow, and Bartow was absorbed by the white high school, Bartow High School. But back to St. Aug, that it just reminded me of that once Ms. B was talking about it. But Ms. B was talking about that game, which was the first game between black and white schools, and it helped integrate the school systems. I think St. Aug in '66 they filed a suit so they could play with the rest of with everyone. And in 1967, I read that they that the legislation opened up the doors. Although I think they didn't play until 1970.
Yeah.
But what surprises me, and Coach, you can definitely speak about this as well, is that they had to be quiet about winning that game, especially since they played as Jesuit, because they might have gotten jumped. They didn't know what could happen if everyone knew. It could have been riots or whatever. Even though New Orleans at the time, with their history, a lot of minorities were there. But St. Aug, you mentioned about the lawyers and all the prominent people there. I mean, that school. I mean, it's so monumental. It just changing the way that things are in that state. And St. Aug was the leader in that. And once they got to play and had to overcome coin flips and ineligible players when other teams so they could win, uh, they showed it on the field.
I need you
And
to explain a little bit more to the audience about coin flips.
okay, so in 1970, it was a three-way tie for it was a three-way tie for first in the district, and only two teams could get into the playoffs. So, and I don't know how they did this, but they flipped a coin, and two of the teams said heads, and St. Aug said tails, and it came heads, and St. Aug was out. And that's how they determined who would go to the playoffs. Now, now they do they play a quarter or something like that. But that's just that just amazed me that you can't go to the playoffs because of coin flip. And not three coin flips or best two out of three or three out of five, one coin flip. And suppose they all would have said heads. They would have just kept doing it. Yeah, and then there was some talk behind the scenes that no matter what St. Aug would have said, they wasn't getting in. But
Right.
you can't prove that now. So, but they had to go through a lot of things, and Coach, I hope you do speak on this part of just how teams had to be almost humble and not no matter what you said, because back in the day, I mean, they could call you a nig, no repercussions. No one, they could call you anything but a child of God. And you just had to just, and you took it because of the repercussions, not the repercussions to you, but to those who follow. And you have to have the restraint to do that. A lot of people from my era say, hell, you call me that now and see what happens. But you don't know unless you're in those shoes.
Rick, is almost like the comedian, and he talks about the fact that present day Black Americans say, I couldn't have been no slave.
Yep.
It wasn't like our grandfathers and grandmothers had a choice.
Slave me. I'll go. I'll be
Yeah.
the slave.
Yeah. It wasn't like you had a choice. I mean, they wore whippings, beatings, killings, being sold off. They didn't have a choice. So even then, you beating people pretty badly, but you had to be quiet. You had to be humble. I mean, they had a game over 7 games. They had 7 games, and St. Aug had been penalized 424 yards. Their opponents, 59. 59. Now, I've been through some bad stuff, but you have to imagine what it's like for a football team like that, just rolling. They said they had calls back so much on when they would score touchdowns and off the first play that they started practice always with 1st and 25. They started practice so that they would get used to it, that's what they had to do. 1st and 25. And out of all of this, out of all of what we're seeing is the number of contributors in American society that came from St. Aug. They have a stronger alumni association than most HBCUs. They have fundraisers in Atlanta, LA, Chicago, New York. They have all these fundraisers, and they raise hundreds of thousands of dollars that they raise, and they give it directly back to the kids for scholarship.
Wow. Yeah, because their alumni, not only do they have alumni chapters in major cities, but they have the graduating class of 1965 has an alumni chapter. Okay. Strong, like Coach was saying, strong alumni chapters. And it's pretty nice. And just some of their alumni, it is unreal. Okay, but I mean, like, I did not know Leonard Fournette went to St. Aug's. I was shocked by that. And just some of the names that some of their and like I was messing with Coach Clayton earlier. They got about 5 or 6 Cleveland Browns that are St. Aug's alumni. So it's just interesting to see, and even there, I appreciate. I'm sorry, just reading it just it makes me a little full, because like the picture of the 1965 basketball team is in the Smithsonian. It's in the Smithsonian, so that's nice. So,
Mm, mm,
but
And see,
coach,
this thing has been going on. Like I said, we've lived it. We had our basketball team at Florida A&M University in a tournament in Boston, and we went in 2 different restaurants, and they wouldn't feed us. I mean, they would not feed the team. I mean, I'm at Nike camp in Indianapolis. I'm in Nike camp, jog every morning. But one morning, I'm getting ready to jog. I stopped. No, one evening I stopped at the 7-Eleven, the convenience store. Little old man, all bent over, sweeping. He says, "Hey, boy, come here." Boy, who you talking to? You, boy, come here. So something about the way he said it, I walked over there. He said, "You jog every morning, don't you?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Your ass don't need to jog tomorrow." That was my reaction. And I said, "And why?" He said, "They've been watching you. Take your ass out there and jog tomorrow morning." And he turned his back and kept going.
Elderly black guy.
Elderly white guy.
wow,
Elderly white guy. Elderly white guy. So I just figured God was looking out for me. Yeah.
yes,
I figured he was looking out for me. And we talk about teams playing. I mean, this is another one of the reasons we do this, because there were always stories from the older coaches and players that did not need to die with them.
yes,
And they talk about Winston-Salem back when Earl of Pearl and that crew was running through the NAIA and drilling people. Now they'd go over to Duke and play late at night and give them everything they can handle, beat them a few times. And they have a completely empty gym in there just playing. And one of the administrators or somebody at Duke happened to go through, found out about it, and stopped it.
wow,
And see, Rick,
wow.
when it comes to basketball, talent looks for talent.
Yes.
When you go somewhere, everybody want to know where the ball is.
Where's the court? Where's the court where they ball? Yep.
You don't want to go to the other court. You want to go where the hoopers are. And if you got to wait an hour to get it down, because don't nobody know you give all you can, because if you lose, you might not play for another hour.
All right.
But on certain days, Tuesday it's this park, Wednesday it's such and such community center. I got a friend that opened up on Sunday and everybody goes there. That's the way FAMU gym used to be. Everybody in town went to Jake to play. If you could play basketball, you went to Jake. And they'd be in there playing pickup games, and the basketball team would roll in there, 3 o'clock, pick 10. Y'all get out the way. We coming down. Everybody cleared the floor, got out the way. Florida State would come. Guys visiting would come. Even before my time, Dave Cowens would come. And when Dave Cowens and Al Lawson and all them guys would play, they'd be in the dorms hollering, "Big Red, Big Red." They'd empty the dorms and go up top to watch Dave Cowens play.
Wow.
So we talk about the stuff that goes on, like at Duke and Winston-Salem with Earl of Pearl, and you look at Winston-Salem and you look at what's happened with St. Aug, And as he talked to me more and more, it just boggled my mind how successful those young men ended up being.
Yes, yes, yes.
And they produced a little show called Before the West with 3 CDs on it and called it a sports civil rights story.
Wow. Before the West Coast. All right.
Because their offense, they say, was like a West Coast offense. And they talk about all the stuff that those guys went through just in terms of getting away. I know I heard about one quarterback, and the story goes, they hadn't lost a game. And one of the sisters told him, said, Mr. So-and-so, our quarterback, you won't be quarterbacking no more. You flunked this class. And he said one of his classmates rode a bicycle from across town to tutor him every night to make sure he passed.
Wow, they were dedicated. They were dedicated.
New Orleans
Wow.
good size city now. You riding across town to go help one of your friends. He said they were raised to be humble. He said it was never about individual accolades. He said they spoke to the custodians, the janitors, and the cook with a handle on their name. It was Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, and said that's how they were. Everybody had to be equal. And to think that all black, all boys, Catholic high school, for all these years have continued to leave a mark, not only in New Orleans, but in the doggone nation, that you could do that.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, Coach. Okay, Coach. Some of your former players, I've seen it for myself. So some of your former players have that respect as well. They might not say Mr. or Ms. such and such, but they see you and they are respectful. Some of your former Rattlerettes and men basketball team, they are like little kids around you. They just shape up. They can be laughing, talking, or whatever. They see you coming, they just stand at attention.
The memories.
Yeah, they gotta run the snake, huh?
Thank you, Ms. B. But there's no comment for me to make on that. I'm gonna move on. I have to share this because I just got a text, and it's called Give Purple Day 22. And they got a text that they send out to all the people about making donations. Wow. I'm looking at I don't know if this is their goal. They said they need 20 donors at 2,500, 25 at 2,000, 30 at 1,500, 35 at 1,000, 40 at 50. Their goal is to raise $650,000, and they told me they have made their goal every year.
Wow. Looking at some of these names on the alumni, I can see that. I can see that. I really can see that. Wow. That's nice.
For a high school.
Right.
High school.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
and that's the respect, and it's still going on now.
Right.
And that's the legacy that this program has left. It's still continuing. Those Purple Knights were, and Coach, we did even say in the 70s that they did win 3 state titles. Not just district, the whole damn state. They kicked their ass when they opened the doors. And it's not just about sports. I mean, and again, Coach has rattled off the accomplishments of the entire body. I give props to St. Aug and the Purple Knights just for what they have done and what they're continuing to do. And I think they are good they would be a model program for any school to follow.
Rick,
Okay.
that's the part that left me with chill bumps that day last week. I mean, listening to the success of these graduates and 12 sitting judges at one time from one high school.
Wow.
From a high school, 12 sitting judges, a graduating class with 100% acceptance in the college. Not that graduated, but 100% that got accepted into college. Look, there's not, and I told somebody, I said, I don't care if they've done 50 stories on them. They deserve 50 more.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They deserve 50 more. And sports, you know, one of their alumni told me, they said, Coach, they said, we celebrate debate championships like we won state championships in football.
Wow.
He said, we celebrate all success stories at St. Aug. Coach, Rick, and it's during that time, you know, it wasn't an easy time integrating schools because you weren't wanted. Like somebody said, they played in their own league. Yeah, they played in their own league because the white schools didn't want them in their league. So they had to sue to get in those leagues. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to cheat you. We won a conference championship. We ran through the New South Women's Athletic Conference. That was Florida International, Mercer, Stetson, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, all of them. The second year, we had the conference tournament at Georgia Southern. We shot 48 free throws. We shot 7. They fouled all of our kids out. They didn't take a lead till we had 4 players left on the floor. We ended up with 3 on the floor. They beat us by 6. I don't know where that runner-up trophy was because the girls threw it alongside the highway. They said they didn't want to see that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'm just telling you, I mean, can you imagine how good you have to be still to persevere like what they did? 424 penalty yards to 59. You were penalized almost 400 yards more than them.
Wow.
And they outgained people by an average of yards per game. Beat them by an average of 17 points. Just imagine the close games that they lost that the officials had a direct hand in.
And you know they did.
Yeah, okay.
They had 1 year they had to forfeit like 7 or 8 games because a kid had transferred from another school and had went to junior high twice, 9th grade twice, and there was no way they could know it. Even the white coaches were saying that another school that had that happen 2 years ago, and they didn't do that to them. But because it was St. Aug, they had them forfeit like 7 games. You know, then they had another year, they declared 19 players ineligible because they were in a current event class and they had no books. And so in the current event class, the teachers taught it to them from the newspaper.
Okay.
Makes sense to me. That's current event, right?
Yes.
They deemed them ineligible because the kids didn't have a book at St. Aug. And they declared like 19 of them ineligible once the season was underway. So they've gone through some things.
Yeah.
Coach,
how can you coach? Coach, how can you coach your team to be successful when you have all of these obstacles in the way? How could you have done that?
Wow, that's a great question. A couple of things, and we implemented some of it in our programs, and times change, but you try real hard with the conditioning, the programs, the things that you do with them to let them know that they can persevere in any situation.
Okay.
And we tried real hard to find out who was going to quit on us in practice so that we didn't have to worry about it by the time it got to a game. Because if they're going to quit doing the running because it was too hard or the conditioning too hard because they didn't want to be there. But part of what we were trying to do was instill upon them that in their mind, they told themselves that they couldn't do it, but they did. And when you get a lot of them from high school and they're told, they might have to run 10 laps around the gym court, and that's part of their conditioning, and you tell them they got to run 10 17s to start for practice even start, they like, ain't no way in the world I could do that. But they do. Or they find out that they go down to the post office and back and then practice. They find out that they do. When they find out that they can stay up late after practice and still study and still make good grades and not lay there and go to sleep and take the easy way out. A lot of them kind of learn from that in terms of being successful. I had one of the guys tell me one time, he coaching now, he said, Coach, I need some help. I said, help with what? He said, you know somebody in financial aid? I said, I do. He said, well, can you help me go down there and get my check? I said, excuse me? Can you help me? I said, whose name on the check? And he recited his name. I said, well, if you want that goddamn check, you can take your ass down there and get it. My name ain't on the check. And he would tell you to date that when he left school, he knew how to be able to handle things, how to go get his lights turned on, how to look for an apartment, how to do the things that he needed to do. Because he said, Coach, because you made us do that. You didn't take us by the hand. And he said he learned how to go down there and smile and talk to people and move up in the line and talk to the lady in the financial aid line and go get her lunch if she needed. He said
okay.
He learned how to do all that so he can make sure he get the way he wanted to go. But that was a really good question.
Okay. Good. Okay. You prepared them all.
We tried.
Okay.
Everybody understood and appreciated. They just thought Coach Clayton was too hard on them for no reason, and because today is Tuesday. But it was all about trying to prepare them for life after that. Because see, as Black females and Black males, you had to be better, and we wanted them to understand they had to be better. So we made them work hard for everything they did, and once they got pissed off about something, they would decide they were gonna go get it regardless.
Okay. Thank you.
Almost seemed like you guys had to be innovators.
It was even worse during that time, Rick. I mean, we had ours in a nurturing environment at a Black college, so we could nurture them and have things set up for them on and off the court.
Okay.
They never felt that it was something that wasn't for them. If they went by the student union building, if there was a dance going on, the party was for them. If we had a speaker coming on campus, the speaker was for them. They never had to stick their head in the door and see what music was playing to see if it was okay to go in.
Okay, I guess.
So if we had a speaker come, they had been identified to be able to come to them, to talk to them, to help them make an adjustment or prepare them for a different part of their life that was coming that they didn't know was going to come. But see, where they were, they only kept them for a little while. Then they had to go back home. And sometimes that was even worse. Sometimes just leaving school, getting back home.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So we are working towards trying to get the Black quarterback from Notre Dame. We went to St. Aug. And we're also trying to work towards having a Zoom call with some of the guys off that championship team.
Oh, wow. That'd be nice.
So we're working towards honoring and recognizing them because we don't do them justice with the things that they went through. And any coach or player will tell you, once you have a reunion and get everybody got back together, all hands on deck, all kind of stories come out.
I'm sure.
Tee it up, Rick, and let it go.
Yes,
and
indeed.
let it go, Rick.
Yes. Oh my good. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna talk it into existence because that's gonna be great. That's gonna be must see TV, and that's when you just lay back, or for me, just sit back and let them go, and like you said, let them go, and you can learn so much, like you on the golf course, because I'm sure at first you were talking and trying to get information, and then once the story started, you probably was just like, "Whoa, okay," and just let them go. And I wish I was there. These are stories that I love to hear, that must be told, that we must continue to tell
Right.
because of the importance of it, and that what we overcome and what we can still overcome. If they could do it then with what they had, what can we do with
Right.
what we have now? Yeah, it's endless.
True.
If you just need some inspiration, I bet you these guys will give it to you.
Right. Right.
Mm, mm, mm.
Right. I can't wait to see what the next story holds for what we're trying to do. And for what, and honoring and recognizing them for what they're doing.
Indeed.
Okay.
Now again, we this Saturday, 2:30, we having a cast call, and it's freshman generations. And what that is as most of you know already, I wrote a book called Freshman, set in the 70s. And Mark and Charles are the stars of the book, two college roommates at a black college. And this is kind of a continuation with some of their relatives that are involved now. That's why we call it freshman generation.
Okay. Okay.
Here,
This is Coach Rockton, head basketball coach of my Southland Tech Bulls, Division I basketball program, coming to you today to talk about those Bulls and these exciting times that we're having here in the 70s. Now, you know one thing you got to remember. The 70s is such a special time here at Southland Tech. And music is such a driving force of everything that we do here at Southland. Our cheerleaders, that band, that dance team, and boy, our fans, boy, they really get behind it and get our team going when it's time for them to hit that floor. Now, we got two freshmen, Mark and Charles. Boy, they are as different as an afro and somebody else sporting a process. These two guys are hilarious, and they keep everybody going. Now, Mark, he could really play, but he just doesn't know how good he could be. And that doggone Charles, 6'8", skinny as a beanpole. Boy, he got to bend over twice for you to see his shadow. And Charles thinks he knows every damn thing. Boy, he gets on my nerves. Even though he's just as lost as last year's Easter egg. He can work my last nerve. We're trying to help him grow into young men, because that's what we do here at Southland Tech. So follow us on Freshman.
I tell you, we trying to use that fresh content, show stuff that haven't been shown before. That's what we're doing on INSiiGHTS ROKU.
Okay.
That's it.
join us.
Join
Don't
us.
slip.
Join us.
See, that's exactly what we're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. As always, the support, the love, and continue to be with us as we continue to work through stuff and grow. We say about being able to be supportive of each other. We appreciate y'all, because without you, we couldn't do it. I don't know what's going on with her. I needed to X her on off with all that sneezing and coughing that she doing over there. You know.
Springtime Tallahassee.
From Insights. Visit our website at insights.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
Insights is the copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on Insights represent their independent thoughts and representation.
You know where
Rick,
I'm
my
going.
brother, I appreciate you. And once again, boy, these shows are just, they might not be interesting to anybody else, but they show interesting to me.
Indeed. Insights. Catch us.
Catch us. Insights Roku, INSiiGHTS, 2 I's in the middle. Good night, everybody.